this is a PowerPoint all about le futur, which is the future tense in French, the simple future, and that means where you say what you shall or will do. And the example says, je mangerai des escargots. Okay, so far you have learnt the close future tense, le futur proche, using aller plus an infinitive to mean going to. The true future in English uses shall or will with another verb. The true future in French uses a series of endings. They sort of look like the present tense of avoir, and they are ai, as, a, ons, ez, ont. So how do you form the future? Well, for regular er and ir verbs, the endings are added to the infinitive, which makes it actually quite simple because you obviously know the infinitive, and if it's an regular er and ir, and all you have to do now is learn those endings that are in red. So let's go through the pronunciation. So this is an example: parler, to speak. So je parlerai, tu parleras, il, elle, on parlera, nous parlerons, vous parlerez, ils, elles parleront. And an example of an ir verb: finir, to finish. Je finirai, tu finiras, il, elle, on finira, nous finirons, vous finirez, ils, elles finiront. Okay, so when you come to regular RE verbs that include prendre, connaître, lire, dire, conduire, just drop the final E off the infinitive before adding the endings. So for example, attendre, to wait, j'attendrai, tu attendras, il, elle, on attendra, nous attendrons, vous attendrez, ils, elles attendront. Okay, so far so good. It's pretty straightforward with those regular verbs, so you need to focus on learning those future tense endings. But here are some examples just to give you some more help with forming the future. As I read through them, perhaps you could think about what they actually mean in English. You might have to look up a few words. So, for example, je dégusterai du champagne. Il choisira le poulet rôti. Nous prendrons le TGV. Okay, so now we come to quite a big list of irregulars. So, luckily, only the stems are irregular, not the endings. So if you learn the je form, you can do all the others. So I've put in red the stem of each verb, and as you can see with some of them, they are quite different. But if you've learnt your endings, then you just have to add them to the irregular stems. So this is where another thing to focus on comes in. What I'll do is read the infinitive and then the je form, and as I'm reading through them, perhaps you can think about what it would mean in English. So, aller, j'irai. Avoir, j'aurai. Être, je serai. Faire, je ferai. Devoir, je devrai. Pouvoir, je pourrai. Vouloir, je voudrais. Savoir, je saurai. Venir, je viendrai. Voir, je verrai. Envoyer, j'enverrai. Okay, so just to look at the first few as to what they mean in English. Je n'irai pas avec vous, which would mean I won't go with you. Je n'aurai pas le temps, I won't have the time. Okay, so they're both negative. And the future. Okay, so just some important little things to remember. These two verbs are only used in the il form, One is falloir, and the stem is faute, and the il form is il faudra. So that means il faudra apprendre ça. We'll have to learn that. And if you're talking about rain, pleuvoir, il pleuvra demain, it will rain tomorrow. Okay, so here's some more little examples with some pictures. I'll read through them, and as I do that, I want you to think about what they mean in English. En France, j'irai à La Rochelle. Je visiterai le vieux port où je verrai la tour Saint-Nicolas et la tour de la Chêne. Je marcherai sous la grosse horloge pour entrer dans le centre-ville. Je passerai quelques jours au lycée doté avec mon frère d'accueil. De la place Verdun, je prendrai le bus pour aller à l'île de Ré. À l'île de Ré, je verrai les bateaux au port de Saint-Martin et me promènerai dans les petites rues. Okay, so I've got some practice for you to do now. What you need to do, I want you to change these verbs from the present to the future. And they're all part of the regular group of either ER, IR, or RE ending verbs. So what you will need to do is pause this commentary and then write them down. And you can go back and look at what the rules are, and then I'm going to put up the answers. Okay, so first one, you change it to travaillerai. Next one, finira, vendra, attendront, choisirai, regarderont. Okay, so you can see that each one, the ER and IR ending verbs have their infinitives. Oops. To here and here. But the RE ending verbs have that extra E taken off. Okay, so here are some of those irregular ones, and a little bit harder, but if you go back and again look at that list that I gave you, you should be able to work them out. So I'll get you to pause the commentary again as you work these out. Okay, let's have a look. Faudra, serait, aurait, feront, deviendront, ira, devra, verrai. Okay, so thinking about what they mean, because it's always good to relate it back to English. Well, the first dot point is it's necessary to leave, and that would become it will be necessary to leave. Next one, I am an actor, and if it's in the future, I will be an actor, and so on. So remember, the future tense in English has the word will or shall. Okay, what we're going to do is in class we will do practice of this. So if you need to, what you should do is go back and write your notes from this PowerPoint. Come to class prepared to ask questions if you didn't understand something, and use the class time to practice as we go through this tense.